What is going on, guys? I'm Dan aka Daniel's son, and this is a non-spoiler discussion, a straight review of my thoughts on the Mayans MC Season 3, Episode 3. And all I'm going to say is I think there should be a spin-off to a particular character whose name is Juan Denver. This episode absolutely did its job for Episode 3 of what, a 10 episode season 3. It was a great setup. It was a great setup to things that you are going to absolutely going to want to know what's going to happen next. The characters in this episode, some characters develop really great, and some characters are a little bit too big for their britches. They're not there yet. There's a lot of things, man. There's a lot of great, there's a specific cameo that is really great. There's like a kind of a nice Western standoff feel to it. There is characters that we haven't seen in a while to come back, and they have a big part to play. There's just a lot of setup. There's a lot of downfalls in this episode. The camera work is super clean. I thought once again, another clean, good looking episode. One particular part with Coco, I thought it could have been a little bit better, but not too much. It's just a tiny little nitpick. The storylines of a lot of these characters are working. Coco's storyline is absolutely working. Bishop's storyline is absolutely working. Gabby's storyline is absolutely working. These are characters that we're starting to grow to really enjoy and like, and we don't want any harm to happen to them. But we all know that if you live this life you lead, things... I think I said that right. If you're in this life, not all... tragedy is going to happen. And that doesn't necessarily is going to be on you. It could be on the people you love. So I really love that they're continuing showcasing a little bit of the other Mayan MC characters. You get a little bit of love. I think more of Gilly. You get a little bit more of Gilly and his kind of... You're starting to understand what kind of person Gilly is. You get a little bit of Creeper, and then you get a little bit more camaraderie with the MC, and you get a little bit of more interesting interaction, especially with Bishop, Taza, and even Hank. Hank finally gets a little bit more to do in this episode, which I kind of complained in the last episode, but Hank gets a little bit more to do here, and I'm all for it. Some of the shots choices too, especially with drug uses in this episode, were really were something that I've seen before, but they really work in this type of episode, especially in this type of situation of a certain character. You still get you get a little bit of booty shots in here, which I much appreciate. You do get a lot of some humor in here, which actually really worked. I didn't think the humor was going to work in here, but they introduced this one particular character that is very vital to this storyline that's happening in this episode alone. He's a very funny character, and I absolutely enjoyed him. I thought he's over the top, but he's great. But look at Chucky. Chucky is over the top, but this particular character fits right in, right? And then even the just him being introduced and then the reaction to the other characters, it makes sense to how they would react to a certain situation they're in right here. Now, there's still a certain storyline, Emily's storyline. I'm still not invested in it. I really don't necessarily care. Thankfully, they don't really showcase Emily and Galindo. Really, Galindo not at all in this episode, which I'm thankful for, because there's more to do. There's more that they're introducing, or that we're going through this episode, that's more important than an Emily and Galindo storyline, which will probably lead to something later on, especially with Galindo, especially when he's still continuing his kind of warpath, or he's still kind of he's definitely unhinged. So we're going to see more of that, but Emily's starting to become unhinged as well. So the sister thing, I still don't think, I don't know why there's a part in here where I'm just like, I'm whatever, just moving, just get it over with, and let's go on to the next thing. But I will say Emily looks banging. She's looking banging. Okay, she's a beautiful woman. So Ezekiel, I really like the fact that in the last episode, he's really kind of becoming like Bishop's. Like, hey man, listen to me. I'm seeing the future. I know how to get you on top. And Bishop is all ears. But do you see a little bit of a friction of at least two members in this episode? So Taylor was absolutely on the money with that. And in this episode, there's big things that might happen to Ezekiel going forward. So I really enjoyed that aspect to it as well. There's also a big cliffhanger at the end of this episode, which I'm off. This is exactly what I wanted to see, a dialogue from these two characters. So we'll see how that goes along as well. Overall, great episode. It did exactly what it needed to do, but this episode really made me think like this is the type of episode where it's going to bite a lot of these characters in the ass in the long run. There's going to be there could be a lot of travesty in the long run because of this particular setup of this episode. And there's great setup in this episode. It did its job. It's absolutely not 450-yarder home run, but it's an inside the park home run. I enjoyed the shit out of it. It actually was paced really well. The only thing I don't like is the goddamn commercials. The stupid commercials ruined the experience for me. So for some reason, the commercials really got to me this episode. So, but I want to thank you guys for listening. That was my non-spoiler for Mayans MC. My spoiler review will be on its way, so you guys can discuss spoilers in that comment section. But overall, I just want to just hear you guys' thought. If you had to rate it 1 to 10, what would you rate this episode? I would rate it a 9 out of 10. I would definitely rate it a 9 out of 10. I think the first episode of the season still is the best one, but this one is really this. I think we're gonna come back to this episode and say this is where it all started. So. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video because it really helps this channel out. So I would really appreciate that. And hit that bell icon so you know when all my videos are coming up and you guys can be the first to see it. And also you can find me at Instagram, Dan the Man Reviews, and also on Twitch at DanMan80528. So until Thursday, which I do a breakdown / prediction video with the Okius Taylor, that will be at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So if you guys want to come by, it's going to be a live stream and we're going to break some stuff down. And I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about this episode. So, and then there's also a particular line that gets dropped in this episode that I think a lot of the fandom, I'm very curious what the fuck they think about that one. All right, guys. Well, I'll see you guys later on Dynamic. I'm out of here. Bye-bye.